Where you at, Berto?
Sweeney panics as her career falls apart. Sweeney. What's going on, Sweeney? This video is by my boy YDR, Young Dawn. Let's get right into it and see what's going down.
Oh, Sydney. What were you thinking? Oh, what? Did you think a bunch of poor, racist incels were going to reinvigorate your stagnant acting career? Sydney, your greatest accomplishment in Hollywood was standing next to a black woman. So why did you think that becoming a mascot for the people who hate black women the most would be the next step in becoming more successful? You ain't never heard the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Well, I've never accused white racists of being particularly bright, so I'm not too surprised, but word on the street is, you recently
Dawn's talking that talk right now.
did an interview where you said that you don't support the views of all the people who were celebrating you after you refused to apologize or even address the controversy that you started when you decided to do a thinly veiled white supremacist pro-eugenics commercial for American Eagle? A pretty underwhelming brand to throw your whole reputation.
Oh my God. Dawn!
Away for, by the way. That's like selling out for Taco Bell. Y'all remember the ad, right?
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sweeney has great genes.
How did you think you were going to get away with that? You know, I've heard a lot of people try to dismiss the backlash for this commercial as liberals being too sensitive and always seeing racism where there is none. Yet, I am still waiting to hear a single one of these right-wing conservative YouTubers explain the connection between a person's genetics and wearing blue jeans. I mean, imagine if denim was traditionally black instead of blue. Does anyone really believe that this ad would have worked if Sydney Sweeney ended that ad with the line, "My jeans are black"?
You're talking right now. That is true. Because I ain't gonna lie, I was sitting here a little bit silent because I was thinking to myself, I still feel like everyone was overreacting, but no, this just proved everything. If the punchline of this shit was my jeans were black, it would not have hit the same. So that only further proves that there was a deeper agenda in this ad. Damn, boy. That's how them conspiracies get you right up in there. It makes sense.
Even though the ad would not have made any more or less sense if it is the case that she was only referring to the color of her pants and nothing more.
Yeah.
Somehow, her ending the ad with the line, "My jeans are black," it just feels like it makes less sense. And that's because the line is clearly a double entendre, referring to both the literal color of your pants as well as your genetics. It's a well-known fact that the color blue has long been associated with whiteness, elitism, and racial hierarchy. Whether it be the Virgin Mary, who the religious elites always had painted in ultramarine blue, a pigment that at the time was the most expensive paint color in the world. It had to be imported from Afghanistan. And in so doing, the Catholic Church connected the color blue to moral purity, moral perfection, and sacred whiteness. Because, of course, the Catholic Church also depicted Mary as a white woman, even though she was certainly an olive skin.
Yeah, that's something that I always said, like, bro, even with the whole Jesus, white guy, beard, it's like, bro, he was out there in them streets, man. That sun was blaring. Even if he was Caucasian, I guarantee you he had a strong tan, nigga. I don't know. That alone don't make no sense.
In the Middle Eastern.
Yo, real quick, if you like making money, I need you to watch this part of the video. If you don't like making money, then go ahead and skip it, but that really should be none of y'all. I know you guys have been seeing me promote this new app called Free Cash, and the big talk of the town is
Is this a scam, Berto? What is this?
well, look at this guy and this guy all people from our community that are making money through the free Cash App. The link is in the description. Even one person from my boy Astro Dior's community made $1,000 using the free Cash App. I know it sounds crazy, but yes, you can make free money while playing games on your phone. But let me break this down in a very clear way for you guys so you know exactly what's going on. When you sign up for free cash using the link in my description, once you're in, you're gonna see a list of games pop up. You download them, you play them, you beat the levels, get to the certain requirements that they tell you to hit. And once you get there, you're gonna get some credits sent to your account. Every single time you hit the requirements, you get paid real money. And they make the process so easy that you can cash out that money into your PayPal or even gift cards. And yes, it is completely free to use. Now, there are some options where you can spend a little cheese to get through the level faster, but you don't need to do that. The reason why this is even possible is because these games are trying to get new players onto their platform. So they pay free cash to pay you to get people to play the game. Now, I know I showed you a crazy example of somebody making up to $1,000, which it's possible, but realistically, it might take some time. This is just an easy way you can make an extra 10, maybe 20 bucks, just doing something that you guys probably do for free anyway. So if you're gonna be bullshitting on your phone playing games, why not get paid? So if you've been on the fence, this is your sign. Click the link in my description and try out a few games. And when you make your money, take a screenshot and send it to me, bro, because I want to see y'all make that cheese. Because if I'm winning, I want to make sure y'all winning too. I love y'all. Y'all know what to do. Link in the description, and you're gonna get a $5 bonus using my shit. Now let's get right back to the video. Where you at, family?
Jewish woman, and certainly never had enough money to afford blue linen, being the wife of a carpenter who lived in an irrelevant province of biblical Israel, after all. Or we can consider the historical association of blue eyes and pale skin as markers of elite beauty. In the past, if you were poor and came from a poor background, you definitely worked outside. As a result, your skin would be darkened, weathered, reddened by the sun. And so, if you saw someone with soft, pale, and delicate skin, then you knew automatically that they came from the more elite circles of society, seeing that they never had to work outside. This resulted in the glorification of pale skin as a whole. And so even if you were poor, it was better to be poor and pale than poor and brown. Sound familiar? The palest people were so pale that you could even see the veins under their skin, which appear blue to the eye, further tying the color blue to wealth and whiteness. And then blue eyes, of course, is a character.
Yo, whoa, this nigga's breaking down shit that I never even thought of. Yo, Don.
Characteristic.
My nigga Don is one of the best to do this content creation shit, bro.
That is almost exclusively found among the palest of white people. Again, strengthening the ties between the color blue and whiteness. Then we can recall the fact that the color blue was exclusively reserved for kings and noblemen of the past British, French, and Prussian empires. This is where the term royal blue comes from, a color that many artists who work with paints, markers, and crayons would be very familiar with. So anyone who knows anything about the history of the color blue would have heard loud and clear what this ad was really saying. But even if you didn't know these things about the color blue, it was still quite obvious to anyone with a properly functioning brain that has not been rotted by years of Fox News and Asmongold and Christianity what you were really saying and who you were trying to appeal to. And so, predictably, the backlash came, and people started calling you out.
So obviously this is rage bait, but here's what nobody's really talking about. This campaign is poking at women's greatest and most tender insecurity under the patriarchy, which is desirability and the beauty standard. It affects not only non-white women, even though this is clearly white supremacist, Aryan race propaganda, but it also adversely affects the majority of white women who do not naturally have blonde hair and blue eyes. Because yes, even the women who can achieve this look have to do it through artificial means in one way or another. The vast majority of white women are not naturally blonde. It's a very, very, very small percentage who go on to be naturally blonde in adulthood. Sydney Sweeney herself.
Is she even naturally blonde? I was just about to say that. She's probably not even naturally blonde.
Is not even a natural blonde.
If you need help understanding the controversy behind the American Eagle and Sydney Sweeney collaboration, I got you. In order to understand what makes it controversial, we need to understand what makes Sydney Sweeney's jeans so great. Is it that they're blue? Or is it that these American popularized style of pants are being worn by a white woman with blonde hair, blue eyes, as she is being considered a sex symbol and sexualized all throughout the commercials? Very subtly, the homophone of Jean and Jean, the advertisement phrasing and spokesperson placement hint to a practice, a scientific movement started by Sir Francis Galton called eugenics.
The left is overreacting over this Sydney Sweeney jeans ad. Are they? Because I don't think that they are. Guys, everybody on this screen right now, they're not Nick Fuentes disciples. They aren't the KKK. These are run-of-the-mill Trump supporters that I come across swiping through my FYP every day. And they are openly talking about how they are proud to be white. Okay, and this has been happening over the last 6 months. It used to be white pride, which we all knew what that meant, and it has slowly evolved into, hey, if you get to be proud, then so can I. And then after this, they started taking the phrase black fatigue, which initially was a phrase to express how tiresome it is to live in a country where you are constantly made to feel unwelcome. And now white Trump supporters have taken that phrase and they've adopted it for themselves to mean, guys, I'm just tired of living around black people, and that's okay.
Of course, the cowards on the right who are still too afraid to wear their racism openly and proudly try to make excuses for the ad. But for me, they all fell short because none of their excuses for why the ad wasn't trying to be racist ever explained the logic of talking about genetics in a commercial about pants. You know, it wouldn't make any less sense to talk about genetics in a commercial for the new McDonald's Grinch meal, for instance, right? So the whole "my jeans are blue," that line was everything. Without that line, everything you said in the beginning of the commercial about genetics is just random and out of place and weird. Honestly, can somebody explain to me how genetics is more related to jeans than it is to fucking Big Macs? It doesn't make sense. And so people called you out. They called out American Eagle, and the ball was put in your court. You were given an opportunity to clarify what the...
Yep, and then the interview, bro. Like, all of this, maybe it might not have went away, but we would have at least been like, okay, she got on this interview and genuinely was like, look, man, I know how it sounded. I know how it looked, but I am not with none of that. Like, I am not with none of that. I promise you. I reject all of those allegations. I am not a racist. You could have said that. She got on that hoe and was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Holy.
Ad really was supposed to mean. You sat down for an interview and were asked about the ad in light of the controversy that it sparked online. People were accusing you of being a racist and promoting eugenics. You became a political figure overnight and were being championed by white supremacists. Surely, if that was not your intention, you would take this as an opportunity to make that clear. But that's not what you did. Instead, you said this.
You've come here like really willing to talk about this whole discourse that doesn't have that much to do with you, and I'm grateful for that. Is there something that you want to say about?
Now, I did say in my initial reaction to this, I also just feel like Sydney Sweeney's just dumb. Like, I almost feel guilty giving her this much credit, though. You know, that's the one thing that baffles me a little bit. Sydney Sweeney, a political figure, she really, like, I just don't, she's not giving me the energy that she is that knowledgeable. You know what I mean? So forgive me if I cop her a little bail, but not, you know, ignorance can still be a crime. You can, just because you killed somebody by accident out of stupidity doesn't mean you're not getting charged. You know what I mean? So ignorance doesn't necessarily excuse you from wrongdoing, but I don't know. I don't think all the wheels are turning up there.
The ad itself. The Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Do you have...
Look at her.
The ad spoke for itself.
You think the ad spoke for
The
itself?
ad spoke?
Okay.
Oh my God.
The criticism of the
Sounds like doubling down to me.
content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like that was kind of like the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that
And the interviewer is trying so hard, like, yo, this is your time, clear it up. Just say that you're not racist and you don't, you're not a white supremacist. Just say that.
I have an issue that I want to speak about. People will hear. People will hear. People will hear.
Ah, boy. Did that make the racists happy? Without saying anything, you said everything. No differently than DJ Khaled's silence on Palestine. Your silence served as consent. You clearly didn't mind the way the ad was being perceived, nor were you bothered by the fact that you were being heralded by racists and far-right conservatives. Maybe you believed the old adage that all publicity is good publicity. Well, maybe you should go talk to my boy Akash Singh about that, see how that's currently working out for him. I bet you felt like a boss, right? Yeah. For not explaining or apologizing, you felt like you had a pair of heavy ones on you, didn't you? Well, I guess technically you do, but I wasn't talking about those. I was talking about having big balls, All right, but unfortunately, it turns out appealing to broke, racist incels and working class conservative middle-aged men doesn't exactly translate to box office success, because you came out with 2 movies since your American Eagle eugenics ad, and not only did they not perform better as a result of your new racist admirers, but they flopped. And of course they did. Americana, the first of the 2 flops, that
Didn't even hear about this, and I'm a movie fanatic.
was basically a movie about a Native American woman who was trying to retrieve a stolen artifact that held cultural significance to her Native American people that was being sold on the black market by some guy who couldn't care less about Native American culture. A white guy, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty woke sounding movie if you ask me. And then there was your second movie, Christie, right? Where
What are these movies? These movies dropped this year?
Christie was a biopic where you played the role of Christy Martin, one of the first women to bring mainstream attention to boxing in the 1990s. You do realize that conservatives are typically misogynists that regard professional women's sports as a joke, right? They couldn't name a single female boxer or WNBA team to save their lives. In fact, the only professional female athletes that they know the names of are all black women. And that's only because they listen to people like Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro, who routinely find reasons to trash them. Women like Serena Williams, Brittany Griner, Simone Biles. These are all names that most white supremacists know. And so even an idiot could have predicted that those kinds of people that you were pandering to were not going to run to the theaters to watch you pretend to be a boxer. If you're not half naked with your tits out or telling these racists how great they are just because they're white and male, you're pretty much useless to them. And so it should, as no surprise to anyone, certainly doesn't come as a surprise to me, that you're now walking all this shit back. Because like every other racist white grifter, as soon as the money stops coming in, as soon as the cash starts to dry up, you change your tune and want to be re-embraced by polite and civilized society. Oh, what do we have here? Oh shit, guys, it is a trailer for a new movie starring Sydney Sweeney.
What is that? What the hell?
I have good judgment.
So would you like the grand tour?
I know I have good taste.
See what you're getting yourself into?
3 movies in 1 year is crazy. They are milking her. No pun intended.
The job is mostly cleaning, organizing,
some light cooking.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Hello?
Millie's gonna be living with us.
She's gonna live with us.
Andrew, I told you that.
she'd be part of the family.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. No, it's all making sense now. You have a new movie coming out in just a couple of weeks. And yes, we did notice they were jiggling in that one scene, but I don't know if that's enough to get those racist white butts in the cinema seats, especially considering the state of the economy and the fact that internet porn is still free. So you probably need woke people to show up if this movie is going to finally break the flop streak. You know, you about to do a flop hat trick. And so you did an interview, right? The one we mentioned at the beginning of the video with People magazine. Of course, you were too chicken shit to actually do one on camera because you know that would create a frenzy of videos online of people making fun of you and calling you out for being a racist, grifting coward who just had 2 back-to-back movie flops. But I understand, I get it. So here's what Sydney had to say to People magazine. I was honestly surprised by the reaction. I did it because I love the jeans and I love the brand. I don't support the views that some people chose to connect to my campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true. You don't even have the good sense to say explicitly, I don't support you.
That's all you had to say.
Eugenics or racism or white supremacy or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Put a name on it. Instead, of course, she chose to go the route of being as vague as possible, still trying to play both sides of the fence. But Sydney, all you're doing is making it so that your new racist fans, they're going to turn on you for being a pussy. Right? You bent the knee to wokeism. Also, I don't know if this is enough. I do not think this is enough to make progressives believe that you're doing this for any other reason besides the fact that your career is failing and you're desperately trying to repair your image.
Man, she's lucky that new Euphoria season coming out, boy. Let's see if she has a major role in it, though, because I loved Euphoria. I'm not going to lie. I loved Euphoria. I think she was great in Euphoria. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody was great in Euphoria. Was there a bad actor in Euphoria? A bad performance? No. And I think they just said they're recording season 3. That might be her last saving grace to get back in the good graces of the people.
She also said this. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. I'm against hate and divisiveness. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press, but recently I have come to realize that my silence regarding this issue has only widened the divide, not closed it. So I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of what divides us. Sure. Well, I suspect we're not going to be hearing much in the way of politics from Sydney Sweeney again anytime soon. Soft as a marshmallow, this girl. Zero spine. But the question...
or brains. But that's what I really think is what's going on.
Is, will this little blurb in People's magazine be enough to turn things around for her professionally? Personally,
probably not.
I doubt it. Highly doubt it. At this point, nothing less than an award-winning, Oscar nomination-worthy performance can turn things around from her. And from what I've seen, she isn't that good of an actor. Or would you rather me call you an actress, right? Because you're conservative. Anyway, hey.
W video by that boy, Young Don, man. Hey, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Is there anything that can save Sydney Sweeney from the controversy? I don't know. Let's see. That's Euphoria season 3 coming soon.
Where you at, Berto?
I made this shit look sweet.